I want you to think about two coworkers, same office building, same commute, similar salaries. The first one drives a brand new lease, nice car, heads to lunch every day, sushi Tuesday, Thai Thursday, whatever the group decides. Weekend trips on the credit card, a wardrobe that rotates every season, apartment decor straight out of a catalog.
On paper, he's winning.
But Friday is payday, and he's been watching his balance since Wednesday. He's gotten maybe $400 in savings. If the car needs a repair, it goes on the card. The second guy drives a paid-off Honda with 90,000 miles on it, packs lunch 4 days a week, has a wardrobe he's worn for 3 years straight. Apartment is clean, simple, nothing wasted. He's got 8 months of expenses sitting in a high-yield savings account. Maxes his Roth IRA every year. A surprise bill doesn't ruin his week. Same income. One has money, one is one emergency away from a spiral. This isn't about discipline. It isn't about sacrifice. It's about a set of rules that financially stable people follow almost without thinking, that most people were never taught. I'm going to walk you through all of them today, and by the end, the way you see your spending will be permanently different. Before we get into the rules, there's one idea you need to understand, because without it, none of the rules make sense. Every single thing you own is an ongoing financial decision, not a one-time one. Most people think a purchase ends at checkout. You hand over the money, you get the thing, transaction complete. But that's not how it actually works. The moment you buy something, you signed up for something bigger. Storage, insurance, maintenance, cleaning time, mental space, and most invisibly, the investment return you'll never see, because that money is now sitting inside an object instead of a brokerage account. A $400 espresso machine isn't a $400 purchase. It's $400 plus the counter space it occupies, the descaling supplies, the occasional repair, and the $1,200 it would have compounded into over 10 years. The price tag is not the price. It's just the down payment. Once you internalize that, really feel it, these rules stop feeling like restrictions. They start feeling like obvious math. Rule 1. Calculate true cost before every purchase. The first rule is this: never evaluate a purchase by its sticker price alone. Here's the calculation I use. I take the total cost, not just what I pay at checkout, but everything it will require to own, and I divide it by how many times I'll realistically use it. That's my true cost per use. A $150 blender you use every morning for 3 years costs less than 15 cents per use. That's exceptional value. A $150 blender you use 6 times and shove in a cabinet costs $25 per use. That's a terrible financial decision disguised as a kitchen appliance. The math does something powerful. It removes emotion from the equation. You can want something, feel excited about it, see it on sale, feel the pull, and then run the numbers. Most impulse purchases can't survive the calculation. Here's the flip side, though. This rule also tells you when to spend more. A quality pair of work shoes worn 5 days a week for 3 years is worth paying a premium for. A mattress you sleep on every night for a decade is worth the investment. The cost per use math justifies those decisions completely. Cheap doesn't mean financially smart. Expensive doesn't mean financially reckless. True cost per use is the only number that tells the real story. Rule 2. The disappearance test. Walk through your home tonight and ask yourself this question about every single item you see. If this vanished right now, would I go buy another one? Not would I miss it, not do I like it, would you actively spend money to replace it? Most people find the honest answer is no for a shocking percentage of what they own. The kitchen gadgets in the back of every drawer, the clothes in the rear of the closet with tags still attached. These things passed through your life, got purchased, and stayed through inertia, not intention. And here's what people don't realize. Those items have a negative return. They're not neutral. They cost you storage space, cleaning time, mental attention, and the visual noise of clutter that research consistently links to elevated stress hormones. You are paying in multiple currencies to own things you don't actually want. Financially stable people clear these out, and more importantly, they've trained themselves to catch the impulse before the item comes home in the first place. The disappearance test isn't just a decluttering exercise, it's a filter for future purchases. Before you buy anything, ask, 6 months from now, would I replace this if it disappeared? If the honest answer isn't a clear yes, it doesn't come home. Rule 3. Refuse the upgrade cycle. There's an entire economy built around convincing you that what you have isn't enough. Not broken, not failing, just not the newest version. And it works. The average American spends thousands of dollars every year replacing things that work perfectly fine simply because something newer exists. New phone every 2 years while the old one runs every app without issue. New car because the current model got a styling refresh. New furniture because the internet showed you a better aesthetic. This is called the upgrade cycle, and it is one of the most effective wealth destruction systems ever created. Financially stable people have a different definition of needs replacing. An item needs replacing when it genuinely cannot perform its function anymore. That's it. Not when it's boring, not when a better version launched, not when everyone else upgraded. I'll give you a real number. If you kept every functional phone one extra year before upgrading, over a 30-year adult life, you'd save somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 just on phones. Apply that same logic to cars, appliances, furniture, and tech, and you're talking about a six-figure difference in net worth by retirement. Boredom is expensive. Don't let it dress itself up as necessity. Rule 4. Design your environment to save automatically. Willpower is not a reliable financial strategy. This isn't an insult, it's biology. Decision fatigue is real. By the end of a long day, your ability to make disciplined choices is genuinely diminished. If your financial system depends on you consistently making good decisions when tired, stressed, or emotionally drained, it will fail. Financially stable people don't rely on willpower. They engineer their environment so the right choice is the default choice. On the saving side, this looks like automatic transfers to your investment accounts that happen on payday, before you see the money, before you budget around it, before it feels available. The money moves first. You live on what's left. On the spending side, this looks like friction. Intentional, strategic friction. Delete your stored payment info from every shopping site. Delete the one-click purchase option. Unsubscribe from every retail email list. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Give yourself a mandatory 48-hour waiting period on anything over $50 that isn't planned. These aren't dramatic changes, but they interrupt the automatic spending loop that most people never even notice they're running. Here's what the data shows. Roughly 70% of impulse purchase desires disappear within 24 hours if not acted on. The urgency you feel in the moment is almost never real. The environment just made it feel that way. Change the environment, let the system do the work. Rule 5. Put a number on everything you own. This one sounds obsessive. It isn't. It's one of the most clarifying things you can do. Pick one category, clothing, kitchen items, books, shoes, whatever accumulates for you, and count every single item you own in it. Write the number down. People consistently underestimate how much they own. Someone who guesses they have 20 shirts often finds 55. Someone who thinks they have some kitchen stuff finds 40 gadgets, half of which they've used once. The number alone changes behavior. When you know you have 54 shirts, buying another one feels absurd in a way it didn't before the count. You're not adding a shirt, you're bringing your collection to 55. The purchase becomes visible in a way it wasn't. Financially stable people set category limits and enforce them with a one-in, one-out rule. New item comes in, something existing has to leave. This keeps accumulation visible and intentional instead of gradual and invisible. Without limits, possessions expand to fill every available space. That's not a personality flaw. That's just what happens without a system. The number gives you the system. Rule 6. Try before you own. Think about the last hobby you got excited about. Did you buy the equipment first? Most people do, and most of those hobbies lasted a few weeks before the gear got relocated to permanent storage. Garages and spare closets across America are filled with the physical evidence of phases. Gym equipment from the year they were going to get serious, golf clubs from the summer, camera gear from when they were going to learn photography. Financially stable people test interests before investing in them. Rent the camping equipment for your first 2 trips. Borrow the power tools from a neighbor before buying a set. Use a makerspace before building a home workshop. Take cooking classes before outfitting a professional kitchen. This does something important beyond just saving money. It teaches you exactly what you need. First-time buyers almost always overbuy or buy the wrong things. Experience clarifies. When you eventually do purchase, and sometimes you will because some interests are genuine, you buy precisely what gets used, nothing more. The rule is simple. Experience first, ownership second. Your closet will thank you. So will your bank account. Rule 7. Calculate the full ecosystem, not just the item. No purchase is a single purchase. Every major item you buy carries an ecosystem of supporting costs, and most people never account for them before they commit. A jet ski sounds like one purchase, but it needs a trailer, a truck capable of towing it, storage during winter, registration, insurance, maintenance equipment, and safety gear. What looked like an $8,000 purchase is actually a $14,000 decision, minimum. A backyard pool sounds like one purchase, but it needs chemicals, a cleaning system, a cover, patio furniture, landscaping to complement it, and ongoing maintenance, either in your time or your wallet. Financially stable people calculate the full ecosystem cost before signing anything. They map out every supporting item the primary purchase will require, every recurring cost it will generate, every piece of infrastructure that has to exist for the thing to work. Then they add it all up and make the decision on the real number, not the sticker price. Here's the powerful reverse application of this rule. When you eliminate something, you often eliminate an entire ecosystem with it. Selling the boat doesn't just free up its storage space and sale price. It eliminates the insurance, the registration, the maintenance, the trailer costs, everything connected to it. The savings compound outward from the original item. One removal, multiple lines of monthly spending gone. That's how financially stable people think about every major possession. Rule 8. Set your enough line before your income grows. Here is the quiet trap that catches people with high incomes more than anyone else. They never define what enough looks like. So when income increases, and for most people it eventually does, lifestyle automatically expands to absorb it. Bigger apartment, better car, nicer restaurants, upgraded everything. The new level becomes the baseline within 6 months, and now they need another raise just to feel ahead. Economists call this the hedonic treadmill. You run faster and the ground moves with you. You never actually get anywhere. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Decide what enough looks like before you earn more. What kind of home is genuinely sufficient for a good life? Not the most you could justify, but what you'd actually be content in. What car reliably gets you where you need to go without being a source of financial stress? What level of material comfort represents real satisfaction versus just more? Write those numbers down. Commit to them. Then, when income grows, that gap between what you earn and what you defined as enough, all of it flows to freedom instead of lifestyle inflation. The person who decides a $55,000 annual lifestyle is enough and then earns $130,000 builds life-changing wealth at a pace most people can't comprehend. The person earning the same $130,000 but redefining enough with every raise builds almost nothing. The finish line has to be fixed. Otherwise, you're just running forever. Rule 9. Measure wealth by freedom, not possessions. Ask most people what being wealthy looks like, and they'll describe things: a big house, a luxury car, expensive vacations, objects that signal success to people passing by. Financially stable people measure wealth completely differently. They measure it by what they can say yes and no to. Can you quit a job that's making you miserable without catastrophe? Can you take 3 months off if a family member needs you? Can you turn down a lucrative opportunity that conflicts with your values? Can you absorb an unexpected $8,000 expense without your entire financial life destabilizing? Those aren't luxuries. That's what actual financial freedom feels like, and it's only available to people who've built genuine margin between what they earn and what they spend. The person earning $210,000 but spending $205,000 has almost none of that freedom. They are entirely dependent on their income continuing uninterrupted. One layoff, one health event, one economic shift, and everything is at risk. The person earning $75,000 but spending $42,000 has an enormous amount of that freedom. They can absorb disruption. They can make decisions from preference instead of necessity. Every purchase you make is a trade.
You're not just exchanging money for an object, you're exchanging future options for a present possession. Sometimes that trade is worth it. Most of the time, when you look at it honestly, it isn't. Rule 10. Declutter on a schedule, not when it gets overwhelming. Most people who decide to simplify their financial life do one massive purge. They spend a weekend getting rid of things, feel lighter and more in control, and then slowly accumulate right back to where they started. Within 2 years, they're back at the beginning, plus new stuff. The problem isn't the purge. The problem is treating it as a one-time event. Financially stable people build small, regular reviews into their routine. A quick glance at anything new coming into the house each week, a monthly evaluation of one specific category, kitchen, closet, tech, a quarterly check on overall accumulation trends. Small and consistent beats large and occasional every time. Removing 5 things per month is sustainable and keeps the baseline low. Removing 150 things once a year feels like a crisis and usually gets postponed until it's overwhelming. The regular review does something else too. It builds awareness of your own patterns. You start noticing which categories drift faster for you, which emotional states, boredom, stress, celebration, trigger acquisition, which marketing tactics actually work on you specifically. That awareness is the real prize. Prevention is always cheaper than treatment. Here's the thing about all these rules that most people miss. They feed each other. Owning less means spending less. Spending less means saving more. Saving more creates security. Security reduces the emotional urge to spend. Less spending accelerates savings further. Every loop makes the next one tighter. The opposite loop runs just as efficiently in the wrong direction. Spending everything creates anxiety. Anxiety makes temporary purchases feel like relief. More spending deepens the anxiety, and on it goes until something external forces a painful correction. The coworker with the leased car and the empty savings account isn't reckless, they're just caught in a loop they never chose and never examined. The coworker with the paid-off Honda and the maxed Roth isn't disciplined in some superhuman way, they just understand that most consumption doesn't actually make life better past a certain threshold, and they've aligned their behavior with that understanding. Both paths are available to you, regardless of what you earn right now. The rules I walked you through today are not about having less. They're about being clear on what's actually worth having and building the kind of financial stability that gives you genuine freedom over your own life. That's what Sam Saves is about. If this gave you something worth thinking about, subscribe. There's a lot more coming.